and welcome back to the second garden tour of the 2021 spring and summer growing season. My name is Faith Linzo and I am a gardener here in North Florida in Zone 8B, and today I'm going to show you around my garden, show you how everything has been looking and progressing. Here in Florida we get the luxury of growing just about year round, so I get an earlier start than most zones on the growing season, so a lot of these things have already progressed pretty rapidly and are starting to reach their peak growing and harvesting, and we're just getting to where we're about to start harvesting a lot of stuff. So I'm very excited to show you around what I've been working on. This garden is a new garden that I recently just moved and have started preparing and working up this new space. So it is a work in progress still, but it's still looking very, very lovely, and everything is doing pretty well considering. There are some places that need more work than others, but overall I'm feeling very happy about everything and I'm excited to show you around. So first things first, I think we'll start in the loveliest place in the garden, which at the moment is the flowers and herbs. I love to grow all sorts of flower and herbs for the pollinators, for just cooking, for different things that you can use for herbalism and for cut flowers, and just all the many reasons that are good to grow flowers. So I have a very large flower section that makes me very happy, and I have been kind of babying it more than other places in the garden this season just because it has been so lovely and I just want to keep it that way. So I'll start off with that section first. So it's about 8:30 here, so everything is just starting to dry off from the dew, and this is my first garden row, which has a lot of just intermingled herbs and different flowers, some zinnias. So we have just an orange Hawaiian marigold. This one's been struggling a little bit here at the end, but it's starting to come back. Some bronze fennel, a little nasturtium, some lavender that I'm trying to revive. This is dill, which is looking so pretty, and it's been a little munched on. I had some black swallowtail caterpillars, which is really exciting because I'm trying to grow the pollinators in this area. This is a cornflower or bachelor button, which I love using these. They add so much beautiful color into herbal products like bath salts or any sort of kind of product like that. They can just add a nice pop of color. A little chamomile patch, which is my favorite flower for tea. So calming. I'm a very high stress individual. Some zinnias, my anise hyssop, which the bees just love these purple flowers, and this was my favorite flower last summer, and honestly I still think it is. I love these purple spikes and I am just so kind of obsessed with them. It's also a very, very great tea itself. Has kind of like just a anisey flavor. Hi, friend. When I first started this garden, I didn't see very many bees. I haven't seen any like flying moths or butterflies or any of the little pollinators or things that you need to pollinate. And since starting it, I've seen just such an influx of all the pollinators, which has been really, really exciting. I don't ever remember seeing a black swallowtail butterfly come here, but it's really exciting to know that at some point they have, and hopefully now that it's laid some eggs on the dill that we'll slowly be getting more. Oop, don't bee flying around my head. We'll slowly be getting more and more butterflies. I haven't seen any monarchs. I do have milkweed here, so I'm hoping that I can get some monarchs eventually. I might be planting more milkweed at some point, so I just haven't seen many, and I think I need more to draw them in. It's kind of, you'll see, but it's kind of shadowed out by other flowers at the moment. So I do have some weeding I need to do in this bed, but that's okay. Another bachelor button. Some flowering cilantro, which I'm letting go to seed to save coriander seeds. So you can use the coriander in cooking. So they also make pretty little white flowers that I like to add as kind of a filler in bouquets and stuff. So those are really beautiful. Some echinacea. I always love echinacea, especially when I'm feeling sick. Some more bronze fennel, some nettle, but I think I want to get a really large pot to let this really take over. However, I don't want it in the ground taking over, because next to all of these other flowers, it might be a little bit difficult to harvest stuff. So I'm just gonna leave it in a pot. This is a pink dandelion from Baker Creek Seeds. This is my Cosmo, which I've explained before, but I always have a hard time growing cosmos and they never really do well for me. You can see it's got some, like what should be flowers, but it is not bloomed. So I'm hoping we'll get there. Maybe it's just taking some time. This is my straw flower, which these dry beautifully and are great for arrangements or letting them dry and making wreaths. This is the toothache plant, which its little buzz can kind of numb your mouth and be helpful for toothaches. This is a borage plant taking over the world here, but the bees also love it, so I'm okay with it. But it is kind of trying to drown everything else out, but it's huge and beautiful. And then my chive plant is getting bigger. I love chives. Some beautiful zinnias, more cilantro. So here's the milkweed. What I was talking about is kind of getting taken over. Look how lovely. I just can't get over it. Bronze fennel, some more zinnias. This is cactus Redmond zinnia. Lovely. They even look lovelier in other places. Another straw flower. Growing a lot of the same things. This is another, oh, there's some sage back there. Some more lavender. Somewhere, oh, there it is African blue basil. I need to pinch off this flower so it can continue to grow better. Some more zinnias. This is queen red lime. It's really beautiful. Love those little lime centers. And then this is yarrow. I had this hidden somewhere else in here too, but I may have missed it. And then another nasturtium down there. Slowly trying to fill in this back area a little bit on this back side. This is one of my first dahlias that are blooming. I'm not sure what kind this is. I ordered a mixed pack and then I couldn't find my order to remember what I purchased. But look how beautiful. I'm so excited about that. That is just so lovely. I planted my dahlia from tubers several months ago, so it's really exciting to see them growing and taking off and see what colors that they're gonna be in person, because I ordered them online, so I just didn't know. So I'm loving it so far. They all look really healthy and good. And this one I believe came from Eden Brothers, and it's beautiful. Some more cactus Redmond super zinnias. Look at these, they're just so cool. Another dahlia getting closer to blooming. I'm so excited. There's several of them getting close. This is Oklahoma carmine zinnia. These purplish pink, hot pink ones I have. This is Oklahoma salmon, these peachy ones. This is another dahlia. I need to get some support for these dahlias and zinnias now that they're getting bigger, but I haven't got there yet. But look at that coloring. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, this definitely needs some support now that it's getting bigger. That one's doing fine. This one's fallen over a little bit. This is where I have been weeding and doing some work out here. This looks like another dahlia is about to bloom. Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh, look guys, one of my black swallowtail caterpillars on the dill here. I think there were several on this. It's quite big, so I think it'll be a very nice big butterfly. Oh, there's some more yarrow. Oh, there are two more. Hi, friends. Wow. That's so exciting. Can't wait to have some more butterflies in this area. Where my old garden was located, I always had millions of butterflies. Monarchs would come, swallowtail butterflies. I had citrus trees that brought the really large kind of swallowtails. And I had always a ton of zebra longwings, which they have a lot of them here in Florida, but they need passion vine for their caterpillars, which I don't have here in the new garden. I believe the zebra longwings usually roost in groups. And so I would always just have a ton of them. And I'm really, really missing them this year because I'm used to just them flitting about and always being around and just always having butterflies flying around. So that's been kind of a bummer. I'm looking into getting some sort of passion vines so that I can kind of attract them and hopefully get them here. So that would be very exciting. This is a dahlia I had bought from a local nursery. So it has been blooming for a little while now. Still really beautiful. Another cactus redmond zinnia, some more zinnias, some more dill. This also needs some support. Yeah, I really need some support. So I'm thinking I'm gonna add some T-posts on either side and twine in the middle and kind of let everything be held up by that. This is my favorite zinnia, Queen Red Lime zinnia. This particular one is just creates the most perfect little poofs. And I am obsessed. Another dahlia that I'm waiting to see. Is this one starting to show colors yet? Ooh, spider. Ooh, kind of purpley looking. That'll be pretty. And then in front, I've got all of my onions. And then you couldn't see it in the front of here, but I have garlic too, so I really need to get in here and weed so that that garlic can take off. And then I need to layer another layer of compost just to help kind of with that weed suppression. So still, like I said, work in progress, a lot of work here that still needs to be done. My current project lately has been shoveling all of this bark mulch, which you can see here in the trailer. That has been my current project. So you'll see as I kind of progress that it'll get to where it's just cardboard pathways and no longer mulch because I'm still trying to add that in. This is my melon patch, which I wanted to do some trellises, some arch trellises here in the middle, but I haven't got around to it yet. And I don't know if it's too late or not, but they have definitely taken off and are trying to take over the world here. So I forget the different, I'm not sure. I think this one's like Maju Ross. I will leave all the names of what I'm growing in the description below so you can kind of know what everything is. But this is a melon, and this it's a mixed patch. So I have all different kinds of melons in here. Let's see if I can find another one. This one I believe is a little Kajari melon. So these are like little personal size small melons. Oh, there's another one over there. I can see that stripe sticking out. And then I have some watermelons in here. I need to weed all through this patch too. This is actually a Armenian long cucumber plant. There's two of them, but it is taking over the world and hasn't produced any cucumbers yet. So I might take one of them out just because it's covering up space where my watermelons are. You can see a watermelon's mixed in here too, and I'd rather let those get bigger and have just one of these plants instead of it taking up this whole huge space. And then this is really exciting down here. I don't know if you can see it hiding in there. Oop, here's one. So that is a lemon drop melon, and they're early producing, and it's new to me. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I pretty much will grow lemon anything because I love lemon scented stuff, and so all of my herbs have always lemon. I have grown lemon basil, lemon thyme, lemon verbena, lemon balm, lemon cucumbers, and now I'm growing lemon watermelons, and I think it's more just to do with the color for these, but still lemon anything for me. And I love that they're early producing and they look like they're almost ready. And I have several of them. So they have these little lines. There's another one over here. Like this is one I'm really checking every day. It's a darker yellow. Oh yeah, I'm very excited. This is more melon over here. Oops, see, here's another one, but see, it's not as dark yellow. So I think that's got a while longer. And then this is all still, this is weed progress. And then up here, which I'm trying to get to, I'll skip sides because this is just the melons too, are some cantaloupes. They're all starting to grow. I don't know if you can see how many are in here. That's really exciting. So flower beds, melon beds. I'm kind of backing away so you can not lose track of where we're at. And then now we're moving into a squash bed. So you can kind of see where I'm still working on mulching pathways. This is kind of where it stops and I haven't made it that far. We've got some squash. I might just harvest these while I'm out here. I should have brought a basket. Some yellow squash, some crookneck squash. This is looking a little sick. The squash are getting really big, starting to get to the humid phase. So this is a zucchini squash. It is green machine, and it does have some natural white coloring on the leaves. However, this, I don't know if you can see the fuzzy appearance, but that's powdery mildew. So I need to come through and prune off these lower leaves so that it doesn't spread. You'll also find powdery mildew on the underside, like right there. So this plant is starting to get sick, but as you can see, it's rather large and it's been doing really well. So I'm not surprised at this phase that this is happening. Let me grab that. That's getting way big. So really beautiful zucchinis. Look at that coloring. Love it. So it's been producing really well, and I'm not surprised or upset about the powdery mildew. Here in Florida where it's humid, that's just something that I've come to expect, and it is what it is. Here we have some butternut squash. Also got some kaboka squash growing in between here, but I'm not seeing any. I harvested some the other day. Some more green machine. I've been harvesting a lot of squash. This is a patty pan scallop squash, yellow scallop squash. Some more butternut squash hidden in here. It's a winter squash, but it's actually grown in the summer. Okay, here's one of the kaboka squash hidden in here. It's got like a orange flesh on the inside, kind of pumpkin-y. Here's a little patty pan. Ooh, that's looking really powdery mildew. I need to get in here. Those are cute. So if you lived in a bit more of a northern climate, you could definitely succession sow your squash. So now that this one is getting sick, you could kind of just keep the squash going when they start to look bad and starting to look like they're losing their life. Here where I'm located, it gets so hot and I don't really have these in a space that gets shade. So I probably won't start squash again until a little bit later in the season. I don't know, I haven't made up my mind. I might just try it just to try. But it's gonna be so hot coming in the next few months that I don't really think that they'll do well. But if if you're more northern and not in Florida, that'd probably be something you could do and keep the squash going. So over here is starting to get where I really a work in progress in the garden. I have some beets, which they're starting to get kind of big. And then I have, this is all cucamelons on this, taking over. Other names are Mexican sour gherkins. This is actually black-eyed Susan vine growing up as well. It'll be flowering little flowers. So lots of cucamelons. I'm not gonna harvest these at the moment without something to put them in, but they have been so good. I'm trying to get enough to make some kind of quick pickles with them, because I think they'll make really, really good quick pickles. Honestly, they're so small and are my favorite garden snack to eat straight from the garden, because they're just so little and just pop them in your mouth. So here in between the trellises, I've got some peppers. This looks like a corbachi pepper. It's a sweet pepper. And then here's a pepper hiding in here. Not sure what that's gonna be yet. I need to weed this whole section, but peppers, they like to be close, so they don't really mind it so much. However, I don't want all these weeds stealing the nutrients from the pepper plants. These aren't producing fruit yet. Ooh, fun. Then I have some cucumbers growing up on this trellis. I need to add some more because the other ones had died back and didn't live, so I need to sow some more cucumbers. Here's some peppers that I purchased from a local nursery. This is like a Hungarian hot wax pepper. That one is too. And then this is, so these were all from a local nursery because a lot of my peppers didn't do well. Can you see that? This is gonna be an orange blazer pepper, like a little bell pepper. Now I'm obsessed with this one because it's variegated, and that is so cool. And even the peppers are having that same striping. How neat. I'm gonna have to save seeds from this. This is called candy cane red pepper. So cool. I'm so excited about that. And it's got several different little peppers. There's some more peppers. Some of these are like jalapenos. This is serrano pepper. So down the pepper aisle, I have my bean aisles. So these are going to be long beans, which will be the long kind of Asian long beans, which are really fun for cooking. And then I have my purple beans, which are already doing really well and starting to produce. I need to start keeping an eye on these to pick them. But I just love how whimsical and just kind of Dr. Seuss-like beans are on a trellis, and it just makes it so much easier to pick them, having them on an arch trellis, just to be able to come and walk by and just easily accessible. I love that. So down on the ground here, I have some pickling bush pickles. So these don't get as large, the plants don't, nor the pickles, because they're little pickling cucumbers, but they don't get as large as and vining as other cucumbers because they're just meant to be bush size. So that's really perfect if you have a small container to put in. I've grown these in a hanging basket last year. Wow, I didn't realize they had so many on them. Might let that get a little bit bigger. Ooh. Wow, so that was exciting. I didn't realize I had so many ready. So this is what I mean by we're just now getting to peak harvesting season. Everything that I've been growing is just now starting to produce, and so that is very, very exciting. I'm about to be full-time harvesting and putting up food, and that's just so much fun. So coming along, we have my eggplants, which are flowering. Look how pretty these little flowers are, just little purple flowers. I'm growing Black Beauty and, ooh, I can't remember the name of the other one, but it's like a white, here we go. Looks like this. How pretty. So they're a little bit smaller than a big Black Beauty eggplant, but these will be really fun. And they're just now getting to where they're about to start producing. This is the cucamelon again. And then down here is the black-eyed Susan vine. And they produce little flowers like this. On this back side, I had some potatoes, but they're pretty much dying off. So I need to come through and make sure that they didn't have anything left. And then this is all potatoes as well. And so they have already flowered and now are getting to the point where they're starting to die back because potatoes don't really like temperatures above 80. So it's starting to get a little bit too hot, and so they're dying back, and it'll be ready to harvest all the potatoes. I had intended to plant in the place of the potatoes some sweet potatoes, and I got in the sweet potatoes the other day. I ordered them from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. All of my sweet potato slips, which are, so potatoes are grown more in the cool climates because they don't like temperatures above 80, so like in the spring and the fall, but you can grow sweet potatoes throughout the summer because they like a long hot growing season. So I got my slips in, I had them sitting on the porch to get some sun, and my mom thought they were weeds and threw them away. So that's kind of frustrating. For those of you who don't know, I am currently staying with my parents while I am purchasing my new house. More on that in another video later. So she didn't know, and that's okay. So we're just gonna have to order more. Hopefully they haven't run out of any slips. So this is one of my biggest work in progress aisles. You may not can tell, but it's bush beans, some calendula, and there are some tomatoes hidden in here, which they aren't doing as well as my other tomatoes, but this is kind of one of my biggest, I need to come in and tackle this project aisles. But the bush beans are still producing. These are dragon's tongue bush beans, and they're so good. I need to come through and harvest these. However, I am trying to save some for seed saving as well. Some purple bush beans. So lots of dragon tongues bush beans in here. This tomato aisle in the back, I'm going to be doing a Florida weave. So similar to how I was going to do the flowers, I'm going to be setting up some T-posts and twine and letting those stay held together by that. These are teddy bear dwarf sunflowers starting to bloom, which is really exciting that they're up here because I'll show you in a second. The deer have been getting my other ones, which is not fun and very frustrating, but I guess something I'm gonna have to kind of adjust to and figure out now that I'm living in the country more. These are calendula called zeolites. They have several different colors, and the underside's just as pretty. They're so beautiful for drying and using in herbal products. I love making an oil out of them for my skin and then using that oil for different things. Some more tomatoes. So I really need to get in here, pick some beans, do some weeding. Look at that teddy bear sunflower. I love that little fuzzy look. How beautiful. So beautiful. So here on my back aisle is where I have all of my trellis tomatoes, which is my normal growing method. The Florida weave is just going to be an experimental method. They're already off to a poorer start just because of neglect, just because it's not the area that I've had time to get to yet. So these are doing better. I do still need to go through and prune these tomatoes as well. And then here in the front, I have just a bunch of basil and different herbs. And then I had a whole bunch of lettuce, but as you can see, they are all bolting and going to seed now. So I'll probably pull these out, and I'm not sure what I'll put there yet. Maybe try some more lettuce, but they don't really do well in the heat here. But here's a whole bunch of basil, which I love. I need to harvest this too, so that it can keep growing and make some pesto or something. And I have a bunch of tomatoes everywhere. These are either going to be Black Beauty or Blue Beauty tomatoes. Look at those. How gorgeous. So the presence of anthocyanin becomes more present once they get more sun. So these have been a little bit shaded, so they would be even more purple if they were getting more sun. And I'm probably going to come through this section and prune, and so they will. These haven't turned yet, but I would bet my money, based on the size and the way that they look, that it would probably be either Kellogg's Breakfast or Dr. Weish, and this will be a yellow tomato. Like I said, I'm not sure. That's just what I'm assuming. Oh, any day now. So, look how many tomatoes. It's been so much fun. Some lemon basil. These are Costoluto Genovese. Some of these have had a lot of fused blossoms and have some pretty severe cat facing, but my curiosity got the better of me. And look at this whole bunch, you guys. Wow, just gonna be so many tomatoes. And I just let them do their thing. So we'll see how they come out. Zinnias. This looks like this is getting eaten, and I need to check for some caterpillars before they eat all my stuff. So what I can do to kind of help combat this is I can come through, prune off, look for any worms or leaves that look eaten, take those off, and then come back through and dust with diatomaceous earth, hopefully that they won't keep laying here. If they were tomato hornworms, you could look for them with a black light, because tomato hornworms are green. They're kind of hard to see, so you could just come out at night with a black light and they actually kind of glow, so you can find those that way. I haven't found too many hornworms in my area, so it hasn't been a big issue for me, but that is how you would deal with that. Got some calendula, some dark opal basil. Ooh, these look like they have worms all over them. But they don't look like they've gotten into the tomatoes. These are blueberry tomatoes. Look at these. So these are going to be Napa Chardonnay, I believe. Some more blueberries. The other day I ate my first tomato, and it was off of one of these blueberry plants. These things have been growing like crazy. I need to come through and do some trellising, kind of hold these up. Look at all these tomatoes, you guys. How cool. See, these are getting more sun. Look how dark these are. How beautiful. I love tomatoes. I think they're so much fun to grow. Look at these guys. These are gonna be big. I'm actually probably about to prune this one off because it looks like it was fused, and this part over here is already ripening, so it's probably, I don't know what to do with that, because that part would be easy to eat around. So let's see on this other side here if any are ready. So that's feeling, ooh, look at there. It's a pretty good sized cherry, bigger than they've grown in the past. So good. It's so exciting. So here on this backside has been very upsetting for me. It was supposed to be my sunflower and okra row. Unfortunately, some of these are taller than the deer can reach and should still flower, but the deer have been munching on all of my sunflowers. Look at this. This one's completely beheaded. Look. How frustrating. I think I'm probably just gonna have to restart some okra now that it's getting a little bit warmer. There's a teddy bear sunflower. I guess they didn't want to eat that, huh? Mexican sunflower. They didn't seem to like this one so much, so hopefully this can keep growing. Well, actually they did eat the whole top off. Ugh. And then this looks like an okra hiding in here, the Jing orange okra. But yeah, so the deer also love the sunflowers, which has been really frustrating. I don't know if you can see all of them. Look at this, especially down on this side that they can easily get to. So they come out through there and back in the woods back there and come and eat all of my dang sunflowers. Fortunately, plants are very resilient, and it looks like they're still trying to flower anyway and just grow from the spaces where there would have been leaves. So I'm not taking them out. I might come back through and sow some more, and this probably sounds gross, but I have asked my dad to come out here and kind of pee along the sunflowers, not on the sunflowers, but just like by the row, in hopes that the scent will scare away the deer. So that's one of the things that you can do to help kind of combat deer. Ideally, I would put up a fence, but I don't have that much fencing or a way to do that at the moment. So you can leave pee around the area, pee on like rags and leave the rags out. Hair, like if you vacuum, dump out like all the vacuum and hair near the area so that the scent will kind of scare off the deer. I'm also planning on making a scarecrow at some point, so hopefully that'll look like a human. We also have some crows. So yeah, never thought I would have to be doing all of that, but here we are. I don't know if you remember, but my dad and my boyfriend Jade planted all of these bush beans and all of this sweet corn, which are doing really, really well. I mean, we have more, I don't know what they were thinking, because we have more bush beans than we could ever eat. And we're not growing for selling purposes. We grow just for ourselves, so we will have a ton to store. And I mean, look at all this, you guys. Look at all these beans. We'll have a ton to store and give away to family and pretty much anybody who wants them. So we'll have probably freeze a lot of these. I'm thinking I might make some fermented dilly beans. But yeah, so many beans. What are we gonna do with all these beans? Of course, the deer have been munching on these as well, as you can see here. So I think there's more beans than, you know, even if the deer did eat them, it doesn't matter. And then back here we have our lovely corn patch, which you can see starting to get some corn, some ears. Look at these little silks. So that's really exciting. It's a pretty large patch of sweet corn. So thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys, and taking a tour of the garden. It's still a work in progress. I'm still doing kind of like a no-till method in my section of the garden and trying to figure out that and learn that. It's a new growing style for me to do in-ground gardening for the past 2 years. I have always done raised bed gardening, and I haven't gardened in-ground in a very, very long time. So it's been really fun to learn new growing methods and just try out different growing styles and kind of figure this out before I get over and finish the purchase on my new house and we'll start a garden over there. So it's been a great learning experience, and I'm so excited by it. And I hope that you enjoyed the tour and seeing how everything is doing, and I hope your own gardens are doing very well and that you're just enjoying this new season of growth. I will see you all very soon. Bye, you guys.